Greetings, Metal Maniacs. This is Ophion, and you're thrashing it out on Dave Softee's Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio.
Alrighty, here we go, Metal Maniacs. Please help me welcome to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from Madrid, Spain, from Blackened death metal band Ophion, here to talk about his international band and the band's debut offering, Antediluvian, released on September 2nd, 2020 through Nefast Films Records, based in Dominican Republic. Joining us, we have the frontman, the vocalist, Monarch.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Dave. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Ophion. So I'm looking forward to hearing your questions.
Yes, and thank you so much for coming on Metal Meltdown. I appreciate this opportunity, Monarch, and I'm really interested to know more about your band, of course. But before we start, I need to ask, of course, because we're living in crazy times, how have you been as far as dealing with this COVID pandemic?
Well, thank the gods that as far as health is concerned, quite good, actually. I do know several people who have contracted COVID, young people, elderly people, people with previous conditions, and everyone is fine. So fortunately, everything is good on that end. Maybe on the economic end, nationally, it's not that great, but we'll pull through.
Oh, yeah, it's like toxic warfare. It fucked up the economy big time around the world, and here too in America.
Big time. As tech giants, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, and all these people get richer, the small guys are getting poorer. So there you go.
Yeah. I kind of blame Trump, because as soon as he opened his mouth that we are going to like boycott China and build everything here in America, That's when this thing all started. So he should have kept his mouth shut. I have checked out your brand new offering, Antediluvian, thanks to Melissa
Yep.
Rodriguez, who recently joined our promotions team here at Metal Messiah Radio headquarters. Yeah,
Whoa,
so
great.
it's been great to have her on board. And she's the one that turned me on to your band so that we could do this. So I owe her a lot of thanks.
Shout out to Melissa. She's been helping us a lot lately with the promotion, so we're very thankful.
I truly believe we have a very interesting story to tell. So
About
Yeah.
Antediluvian, what can I tell you? When I was in the process of selecting the name for the album, I thought that this name, Antediluvian, best synthesized the concepts that the album encompasses or the story, and view that it takes you to an unknown and remote past before the world deluge or the ending of that ice age, which Antediluvian refers to. What it's about, people might ask, well, there are two main themes generally that the album touches on. The first one is the symbol of the serpent, alluding to the name Ophion, which is the name of the band, which is found globally, the serpent, in a great many civilizations and societies as some type of mythological or religious symbol. And the second theme that the album touches on is its Atlantean origin. So we posit that this symbol of the serpent, which is universal, comes from the Atlantean civilization. Okay, so that is a very quick summary of what Antediluvian is all about conceptually.
Thank you, Monarch. You made that sound very interesting. And I see that Ophion formed in 2017 and is comprised of yourself being from Spain and Focalor and Wolv being from Dominican Republic. That in itself I find also a very interesting situation. How did this all get started?
Okay, it is interesting. It's an interesting situation because we're far apart. But it all came about because we had previously worked together in another band when I lived in the Dominican Republic. So that's where we met. So that was about 2010, 2011. But now in Madrid and having had a conceptual framework that could be the base of an album years later, which I had been working on for other reasons, I contacted Focalor with the idea of an album based on these themes, trusting that we could find our way around being at different locations. And interestingly, this was before the COVID ordeal, so we were able to make it work despite the distance. And likewise curious was that Ophion was going through some lineup changes at the time, which allowed me to ride the lightning, if you will. So I joined the band with this idea, and here it is.
Wow. And how did you select the band's name? Did you actually choose Ophion, or you were explaining some special meaning? So this Ophion name really does have special meaning to you.
It does. It does. There's a kind of a long story to it. I'll cut it short. Ophion is Greek for serpent, right? And back then, when Focalor, myself, and Wolv were working together in that other band back in 2010, 2011, I had proposed the name Theology of Ophion for the album that band was working on. But due to some complications, we were unable to record at the time. And sometime thereafter, I left for Spain. So this name, Theology of Ophion, which is now one of the name of the tracks on Antediluvian, actually comes from a book of an unknown author called Ophiolatreia. So Ophiolatreia means basically the study of the universality of the serpent and its worship. So I guess that Focalor liked the name, so decided to use it some years later for this new offering, Ophion, right? So that's where the name comes from.
That is very interesting, and it works really well with your music. And
Oh,
this was
thanks.
released, as I said, through Nefes Film Records. Now, is this available strictly on like digital format, or is it also available on physical copy?
Yeah, as you say, it was released September 2nd, 2020, and it's only available digitally right now. You can find it on Bandcamp, YouTube, and
All right.
so on. But as of now,
That's what
only
I thought.
digital.
That's why I want to make it clear. I wanted to make sure that I got that right. But I have to tell you, this is a total kick-ass, dark, extreme metal offering. And I especially enjoy the sound of The Course of Empire and In the Night of Ages. I want to congratulate you on such great music, Monarch.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. If I had to guess, I'd say that probably The Course of Empire and In the Night of Ages have bits and moments with black trash influences, maybe, and that might add to that extra spunk that you might like.
That makes sense.
No?
Yeah, I'm into that. And Monarch, can you share with us on how the Ophion music is created? Did you write all the lyrics and Focalor wrote all the music, and then we could talk about what the recording process was like. It should be quite interesting to the fans to know how this music was all created. And I do understand there's three in the
Yeah.
band, but I'm pretty sure you had special guests to join in this recording process.
We did. We did. It was great. The recording process was great. And in relation to the lyrics, yeah, I did write all the lyrics. These are concepts, as I said, that I had been working on for quite some time. When I left DR, the Dominican Republic, back in 2012 up to 2017, I had been, researching these topics on serpent worship, which is and antiquity, mythology, and so on and so forth. So when I had this framework, I decided to make it into a lyrical concept that I could include in a band. So I did write the lyrics, and Focalor, in the meantime, wrote out the different songs, and he recorded the music, which is related to your next question, I believe, about the recording process, right? So the recording process was interesting because we're, far apart. What Focalor did was he recorded the guitars and the bass at his home studio in the Dominican Republic, Nefast Films studio, and he digitally sent them here to Madrid for reamping, mixing, mastering, and so on and so forth. As for myself, I was physically able to go to the studio for the vocal recordings because I am here, and the studio is here in Madrid. So even though I hadn't been active as a vocalist for years, which is interesting, I think I was, generally speaking, able to put out what I had envisioned, right? Which was the motive behind my contact to Focalor and put this to on an album. Now, concerning guests, there were guests, actually, as you had implied. Luis Fernando, who is part of the Empty Hall staff, he did the clean vocals in Grand Babylonia, and he also did some clean vocals on Theology, the last song of the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about the drums? Who does the drumming?
So the drums, they were programmed by Focalor.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they were programmed by the bass. The basic drums were programmed by Focalor, and what he did, he sent them digitally again to the Empty Hall, where they improved the program drums that Focalor had done.
Wow, that is quite amazing. And you said that COVID didn't delay anything to do with this process of recording, right?
Mercifully, the Chinese virus and political incompetence didn't delay the process, fortunately, in that respect. Something did delay the initial phase.
What was it?
You mentioned "In the Night of Ages," and that's actually one of the last songs that that Focalor composed, and it was almost last minute. So we delayed it for a couple of weeks or maybe a month for that reason, and then we had the album like 3 months before the release in September. But September 2nd was a date that we specifically wanted for the release, and we just waited those 3 months so we could do it. Something symbolic.
Oh yeah, would you care to elaborate on that? What is it about September 2nd that means so much?
Birth and death.
Oh yeah?
Yes. It's a date that is very relevant to the band members, people who were involved in the recording. So we just wanted that as a symbolical release for this album.
Well, I understand that, and thank you for sharing that with us. That's pretty important, actually. Wow. And let's learn all we can about the making of Antediluvian, as far as who produced, mixed, mastered this offering. And I believe you said it was mostly recorded at Focalor's studio? Yeah,
the recording of the guitars and the bass was at his studio. And remember, he sent that recording to the Empty Hall where they reamped it. They did the reamping in the Empty Hall here in Madrid, and the mixing and mastering and everything else. So he just recorded the guitars and the bass and then sent them where they worked on it.
And where did you record your vocals?
I recorded my vocals at the studio, the Empty Hall in Madrid.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're in Madrid, the Empty Hall is the place to go. They're recording many international acts right now, so it's a great place.
All right. Well, I thank you for that information. Now I'm clear on that. Thank you very much. And the cover art is very dark. I'm interested to know who designed it and who designed the band's logo.
Yeah, that's That's a really good question. Chaos Dictator was the man charged for the album cover, and we're extremely satisfied with the result. In order for him to come up with that idea, you know, I spoke to him a lot. I told him about the concepts of the album, about the Antediluvian, about the lost civilization, about the serpent element, and so on and so forth. And he completely understood where I was coming from. He envisioned it in a way that, to this day, I see the cover and it's awing. Now, with regards to the logo, the man's logo actually was done by the previous vocalist, Eric Meran, aka Abortion. So he does logos in the Dominican Republic for quite a few bands and artwork as well. So he did a great job.
I can see your fans getting the logo as a tattoo. I can see it happening if it hasn't happened already.
Don't do it. You'll regret it.
Why is that?
I'm just kidding. You know, if people get tattoos, they regret it down the, you know.
Yeah, but I see on Facebook all the time that like they get tattoos of their favorite bands, the logos, and I haven't heard anyone, you know, regret it afterwards. But you know, you never know. You're right. You never know.
You never know, but come on, if you do get one for some reason, send us the picture.
That would be awesome. Yeah. So anyone that has this, you got to send it to Ophion on their Facebook, and let's talk more about this Nefas Films Records. Is this your own personal label? Is it Focalor's label, or how did this all work out with them releasing the digital release?
Okay, Nefas Films is actually his studio. That's where he records stuff, and he's recorded local bands there. So because we are independent, and we didn't have a label for this particular album, we decided to release it under Nefas Films Records, right, as a tribute to local bands, as a tribute to that studio where so many people go and work on their stuff, right? So. Okay. So we're actually independent, but it just bears the name of Focalor Studio.
You. Okay. So next question is related to the possibility of Ophion getting a label to support the band in releasing a physical copy, as well as touring and all this. So have you been able to search out any labels out there that would be able to work with you on releasing the CD?
We have been in contact with labels. We're still waiting for, we're waiting for other offers, what may come. I know it's very difficult for, you know, new bands to get a deal, a record deal, or to help them release an album on their first album, their debut album. But we've been in contact, and they've shown interest. We're just waiting for the thing.
I hope that all works out for you. It could be... all depending on the state of the world as it is. And, you know, new bands keep coming out left and right. Like every day there's a new band. But I see a lot of bands just doing it themselves. Like do-it-yourself bands. They're actually just doing this all in their own studio, and they spend a few $100s to make the CDs and do it themselves. But sometimes, you know, we're living in a world where there's really not much money in metal. There is if you're doing shows, but of course... with the COVID, there's no possibility of that. So you have to make money somehow. So I need to ask you, what does the future look like as far as Ophion and doing some live performances? Has that been something that you've been able to think about, or are you in the situation where you think you still have to wait to even think about that because of the COVID?
Hopefully this whole COVID thing will be over by the beginning of next year. We don't know, but the distance notwithstanding, Ophion is definitely open to playing live. Of course, summer and winter festivals are easier, but you know, small shows, so long as we're contacted on time, rehearsing and travel arrangements could be taken care of. We can figure that out. We just need to be told on time, informed on time, and we'll do it. We're open to playing live, of
That's great
course.
news. And by the way, do you have anything that you have already booked or lined up for the future?
As far as performances, we had been invited for this festival in the Dominican Republic, but unfortunately, last minute it had to be canceled
Right.
because of COVID. And many shows are just being delayed. Their dates are being moved, and so on and so forth. So I guess we won't be receiving any offers until things are settled and they could have more definite dates. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
We're open to
let's
that.
hope. Yeah, let's hope this
Totally.
COVID gets washed away. As you know, in the news, they are experimenting with these vaccines, and I'm hearing mostly good stories about it. But I do also understand that Pfizer, their vaccine, if you have like bad allergies, it doesn't really work for you. But thank goodness they have these vaccines, and let's hope that this clears everything away where everyone can be safe, and then you can go on with your normal lives, right?
Indeed. Let's hope so. Let's hope that no secondary effects, right? Especially because they're giving these vaccines to nurses first and so on and so forth. And we really need these people. So if they get sick because of the vaccine or something of that nature,
That's
then
really
we're in
horrible.
trouble.
That's why a lot of people they don't want to be the first to take this vaccine. But I'm seeing in the news that the nurses and people in the health field, they're very happy to take this, and I've had heard nothing bad about this so far. But you never know, right?
You never know. Let's hope everything
Yeah,
is
yeah.
fine with
Please,
it.
let's do that. And so here we are talking about an underground band that is independent
Yeah.
and uh, is doing everything for themselves, but they're not able to tour. So how do they make money? So I want to put out there that the
Good question.
best way that Ophion can get productive for themselves as far as getting some sort of, let's say, some sort of an income would be by selling merch. So that's why it's very important to get the CD. I know you have the digital downloads and the Bandcamp, so we're going to give that link so people could buy the digital files, but getting the CD and other merch as well will probably be very beneficial to a
Yeah.
client. So do you have any merch available at this time?
Yes, we do. And thank you everyone who has purchased some of our merch. We have shirts, we have tees, we have hoodies. You can find that on our official Ophion store, which is on Teespring. So you can definitely support us by buying our shirts and stuff and our designs, which it's practical because you can wear it and you can support the band all at once. So that would definitely
That's
help.
great.
Alternatively, just like, share, comment, subscribe to our channels. That helps in other ways too. So if you like our music, support in one way or another. We
That's
appreciate it.
great. And let me give a couple of links, and you tell me if these are good links to go to support Ophion. Of course, you have the Facebook, facebook.com/temple.of.ophion. The Shop Now tab is right there. And then you also have your official Bandcamp, ophion-official.bandcamp.com. And you're also on Spotify. And are these links good, or do you have a better link that the fans can get to get the digital copies and of course merch to support Ophion?
Okay, so the digital copy, it's on Bandcamp. Otherwise, just type in Fine Antediluvian. I mean, it's on different media. Like you can get it on Amazon Music and so on. But if you want some of the merch, like the tees, the tanks, the hoodies, go to teespring.com/stores/Ophion. That's our official Ophion store.
Thank you for that information. That is very important. And
Thank you.
also, videos can be very important to get the word out on the band. So I visited your YouTube channel. I
Definitely.
visited Ophion Official, and I've been sharing the Kalasa lyric video. And so I want to know, of course,
Thanks.
and I want to know the production of this, who created this, and also I think I understand from chatting with Mel about videos that she also says
Mm-hmm.
you're working on another video. So After we talk a little bit about Kalasa, if you do have plans on making any other official music or lyrical videos, we'd love to hear that as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, Kalasa, yeah, that was our first video, lyric video, and it's amazing. I really like it. We got excellent feedback. It was created by Marjorie C. She's from Cow Studio, have a studio, create different type of designs and so on. And she was also the person in charge of our branding and our press kit and these type of things. So excellent job. If anyone is interested, her link is a Colossal video where you can find her information.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, so regarding other videos, we are working on some stuff and we have worked on other stuff. So for instance, very pronto, you will be able to see a drum cam video for Ophion. It's coming up soon. And we are planning a concept video for Atlantean Gates, which we're going to start filming now in a couple of weeks when I get there to the Dominican Republic.
Excellent. So when you have this all said and done, please hit me up so I can share it for you.
No doubt.
Excellent.
I will.
Looking forward to that. And Monarch, with all the struggles and obstacles, especially with your story and the underground that we're in, I want to know, where do you see Ophion in the years to come?
In the years to come, the vision is that Ophion will be the first globally known act from the Dominican Republic. I know it's setting the bar high, but I believe we can do it. I believe years from now we will have played in different locations and consolidated a whole range of new fans. Over and above this, we will have published respectable and innovative content in the extreme metal genre. So we're working on new content right now. It's going to be bigger and better. We're going to, be very active and do whatever we can so we can achieve this.
That's good news. And as they say, dream big or go home, right?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
They also say, don't give up, don't surrender, or never give up, never surrender. I believe that's a Agent Steel tune or something like that. But yeah, never give up, never surrender.
Exactly. I subscribe to that.
And what about new music? Have you been working on any new music? And besides the videos, what else can we inform the fans on what to expect next from Ophion?
Okay, good question. So we are working, as I said, on new music. Focalor is composing new material. Wolv is now composing new material. We're experimenting with the sound. And I'm working on new concepts for the next album as well, which is going to be connected in some way to the Antediluvian concept. Now, this time it's going to be more about the meaning behind the serpent. The tentative title for this album will be Vedanta. So in due course, you will get to hear some new stuff.
That's great news.
We're working on that.
Now, by hearing you talk about this, I have a question, a follow-up question, actually. It sounds like the possibility is that Ophion and their musical releases might be considered either a trilogy or a saga. Is that the plan, that every album is going to be connected to each other in some way?
At least I can tell you this. A trilogy is very possible. This second album definitely is connected to the Antediluvian concept, but I have already started to think about ideas for the album which is subsequent to this one. So it's very true. And the name Saga is a really good name, which I've thought about using in some way for either a song or something of that nature.
That's excellent. I feel that just by talking with you. I can see it happening too. So I do wish you the best with that. And you'll always have a place here on Metal Meltdown to talk about it. You know that, right?
I do. Thank you very much, Dave. It's great to be here on Metal Meltdown. It's such a great show. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. You'll always, the door will always be open to you for every release you have that we could talk about this. And I'm just sort of curious. Awesome. I mean, you have to make money. You have to pay your bills. So what do you do when you're not doing the band? How do you support yourself outside of the band?
We have to work, of course.
Right.
When we're not playing with the band, we have our jobs, normal day-to-day jobs. teaching, that type
Okay.
of stuff. Focalor has his studio. He does other type of work as well, and so does Wolv.
Okay.
So we do have regular jobs. And
Okay. Monarch, I want to thank you for spending time with us tonight on the Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio. I do believe we learned a lot about Ophion, and I really appreciate you for your detailed information about everything, and it helps me to understand more about the band and how I can continue to support the band. So thank you so much for everything that you have told us. Before we go, though, I want to make sure if there's anything else that you would like to discuss about Ophion that we have yet to bring up, I want you to feel free to talk about anything you'd like to.
People out there, if you like Ophion, follow us on Spotify, add us to your playlists. If you like us, go to our Facebook, go to our Instagram, be attentive. We're working on content, and support us in some way or another. We are going to be very appreciative of that. And lastly, I want to thank Metal Messiah. I want to thank Dave for having us here. It's been a pleasure. It's a great interview, great program. Follow him also on Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media platform, guys. Great.
Thank you so much for your kind words. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us today, Monarch. And actually, I was going to ask you if there's anything that you'd like to say to your fans at this time, but you pretty much did already. But beyond what you just said, is there anything else that you'd like to say to your fans that are tuning in right now?
Just thank you for your support. I mean, I've just looking at people who've been listening to Ophion, people in the US, people in Canada, people in Asia, people from Russia. I mean, thank you all for sharing our content and being supportive. We're just very thankful for that.
That is awesome of you. And I want to thank you again, Monarch. I want to wish you and all in Ophion to stay safe out there. And let's hope this COVID gets resolved. And I want to wish you a happy, healthy new year. I want to have you back on the show for each additional offering that you have out there. And I wish you to have the best of success. And I hope that you find a label that can work with you, that you can get this out there on CD. And we'll do what we can to help. This is what it's all about. We got to support the underground.
Indeed. May the gods
right.
Thanks.
How about we go crank up some more Ophion now and crank it up really loud? Let's do it.
Let's do it.